I'm going to talk about three different methods of solving this question. The first one is to simply try all the numbers out and check that you get a positive integer at the end, and then look for which of the answers that give a positive integer is the smallest. That will work. It will take time. It's not going to work if it's not a multiple choice question. So I'm going to rule that one out, but you could do it that way. The way I did it is I basically looked at, like it says the output is a positive integer. So I chose the smallest possible positive integer as the answer, and that's going to be 1. Because what's happening is it's getting smaller every single time. That's something I noticed, and hence that's why I went with 1. So I now do the inverse function machine essentially. So here I'm going to add 10 and I'm going to get 11 at this stage. Then I'm going to times by 3 to give 33. Then I'm going to add 10 to give 43. And finally times by 3, which gives 129. So actually it has to be 129. The others would have either give, I think 120 gives 0, and the others will give a negative. I really like that method. The other method is to work purely algebraically and put x into the equation. So if I put x into the function machine, if I put x in and divide it by 3, then I'll get x over 3. If I then minus 10, I'll write that. And then if I divide it by 3, I would actually divide the whole thing by 3, which is probably better written as x over 9. If I divide something by 3 and then divide it by 3 again, it's the same as just dividing by 9, and then minus 10 over 3. So I don't have fractions within fractions. Now I've done that dividing by 3, I can minus 10, and I'm going to get n as my answer. Some value of n, which I know is an integer. So what to do next? Well, I could write minus 10 as it's going to be 30 over 3. So x over 9 minus 10 over 3 minus 30 over 3. So that's going to be 40 over 3 when I combine those two fractions. It's going to equal n. And if I put it over a common denominator, it's going to be, well, x over 9 minus 120 over 9 will equal n. And if I times through by n, I'll get x minus 120 is equal to 9n. Now I need x is my input, remember? So x is then going to equal 9n plus 120. N is my final result. It has to be a positive integer. So at this point, I'm going to say, well, actually, the smallest that n could be is 1. And therefore, the smallest that x can be to give a positive integer is 129. And you can see all the other values that you would get, actually, for other values of n. So if you wanted n to be 3, then it would be 147 that you'd have to put into the function machine. So this is more complicated. It's a nice general solution. But my favorite is this one here.